it in these tanks. Number two, if you can do it with only 75 millimeters of armor in the front and 40 on the sides, then you can do it in a tank that has higher armor values in the front. Right. If you learn to do it in a lower value tank, because what's going to happen is if you don't do it correctly, I'm going to penetrate you. But if you're in a higher value tank and you don't do it correctly, it may have spaced armor, depending on the tank you bring, it may have spaced armor that absorbs the air, more forgiving and allows you to make a mistake. Learning to do it in this tank, you don't get the opportunity to do it right, or you get penetrated.
Right, and then if you don't side scrape correctly, it's something that you just need to learn, right? So like going against medium versus a heavy, I kind of know that I don't have the armor to ricochet or be aggressive on my side scraping, so be very steep. But you just want to make sure if you do poke out to shoot that you're not exposing your lower plate. So like if I needed to poke out like this, sorry. If I needed to poke out like this, he could see my lower plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all you just need to do is turn slightly, and look, the lower plate might still be visible, but it's more angled, right?
Yeah,
and then all you need to do is once you take your shot is to drive forward, and look, now all he can see is the side of my tank instead of like all that stuff.
Correct. And here's another reason why I wanted to use the same exact scenario that I was in. This fountain that's in front of you guys or behind you guys is hiding the lower plate of the tank. So I can try to shoot at the lower plate if you back out, but most likely I'm going to hit the top of the fountain, the edge of the fountain.
Yeah, I mean, side scraping is something that even it's very hard to do, but like even in like your American tanks where it don't have that much side armor, like you can coax them into dumping a shell into the tracks, and then your tracks will eat it. But it's just ways to save your hit points, basically.
Drizzy likes to bounce back and forth when he does it. I like to get in there and maybe move a little bit, but if you're doing it correctly and you stop, that's when he's going to take a shot because he's thinking that he's got you and that he's going to be able to penetrate you. Now,
yeah,
with Cross to there and the Rudy, I have a green arrow that I can penetrate you from where.
Mine's a bit too aggressive on your side scraping.
Yeah. So that angle you're at right there is a red arrow. Just got to make sure you don't get your front out too far to where I can penetrate that. Now I've also, in line with this, we were first time I did it and did the 750 in damage block. I was going up against a T150, and then this time I was up against the IS2s. So I brought the IS2. All right. So who wants to get in there first?
I'd like to see Drizzy do it because the Rudy has less armor than the T3045.
I don't think John has a mod to where I can't.
I can't shoot Drizzy.
Oh, okay.
All right, John wants to take a shot. You want to take a shot, and I can reverse side scrape it.
The other thing is, you guys don't want to be around his back end because if he's doing it correctly, this shell's going to ricochet, and if you're behind him or beside him, it'll penetrate you. All right, you ready?
Nice ricochet. Nice. Well, I bounced it.
Yeah, I know. I saw you back there. That's why I was wait. I was.
So the reason why I jerk back and forth is because some of the tanks that I play, they have weak spots even if you side scrape. So you just want to make it a bit harder for them to hit. But that's only when I'm trying to get them to shoot. If I'm trying not to shoot, then I'll like just stay hold down or stay behind that cover.
All right,
But
next.
John, you could actually damage the IS2 from there with your T3045.
I fired what 11 shots. I hit him 4 times in the cupola and only penetrated 3. So
That's
it,
good, eh? That's good.
it was good, but it wasn't good enough. He ended up he switched over to APCR and caught me in the front and penetrated me.
Were you stopping though when you were aiming? I'm just wondering, like in that situation, I'm looking at how small your cupola is, and I'm like,
yeah, I was. Well, here's the thing: is I was trying to stop when I aimed, and he was trying to move. He was moving back and forth like Drizzy does. So it made it that much harder to aim at.
Yeah. When you're side scraping and the other, like let's say John is loaded, you don't want to sit and aim. But if, let's say he shoots, you can come out and take your time aiming. But you just if he's loaded, you don't really want to aim. You just want to hopefully it'll go straight.
that
All right,
bounced off 3 of us.
did it?
That,
Well,
that bounced off Drizzy, me, my turret, and then it bounced off Tyrannus. I think it did not bounce off Tyrannus.
It damaged me.
It damaged Tyrannus. Yeah.
That was hilarious because I saw it come in, bounce off the 3 of us.
Yeah, it's just like you just need to know like the gun that they're using. So like since it's a 122, it's pretty much gonna pin us if we go any more than or more angle than that. But like let's say you're fighting like a Cromwell or something, you can go a little bit more aggressive on your side scraping. Because the more aggressive you are on your side scraping, the more they're gonna try to shoot at it because they think they can pin it. But like little do they know that like
Yeah,
it's probably not gonna go in.
he tracked me twice.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah. Go ahead next. Drizzy, you need to get out of there because when you bounce back and forth, it says I'm blocking my shot.
Sorry, the bushes are in the way, so it's like really easy to look at from behind.
User disconnected from
A bit too aggressive. Might wanna go like
Yeah,
that.
don't come out that far. You want to get him better lined up on the wall. Drizzy.
I am. I'm pushing him into the wall. Go to the wall. Okay. So, go. Oh,
Wait, hold on.
right there.
Whoever's in the Cromwell behind him's got to move too.
You might be able to angle it a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see I can see the front of your tank.
Let's try. Too much.
Nope.
Too much. Here, wait, don't move. I'm gonna push you, okay? Good. A little bit more.
I forgot to bring extra shells.
That. There you go.
You can press your right mouse and look at what your angle is as well to get an idea.
So you see how like just that slight difference made it so that you can bounce.
Yeah, it's only a slight difference. Go ahead and switch. Put somebody else. Yeah. I'm almost out of shells. I only have 2 shells left.
This just shows you like how well John was angling, because like the slightest movement could have messed it up.
Yeah, the slightest twitch left to right is gonna mess you up.
I can go over there and shoot. It's just that it's not a 122. So
yeah, that's what I'm gonna have you do.
Nice, track ate it. Yeah, I think that the angle looks good.
Hold on a second. Did that missed you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Start one more time.
Miss.
Yeah. All right, now I run out of AP shells. So that was 3 shells that I just fired at him that are APCR.
Oh, you're firing APCR.
Well, I am now. I ran out of AP shells. So APCR shells will bounce the same way as AP shells will. Now AG shells won't, shouldn't. Um, but this will also show you that this is how you can, if somebody is shooting APCR at you, you angle correctly, then you can either absorb the hit or bounce the hit.
Heat's actually really great for side scraping too. Or heat, you can counter heat with side scraping.
All right, next.
Oh, you're still at shells?
I got 12 more APCR shells.
You want to waste that? Or do
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind.
I'll go back.
I want to get the chromos in there.
Yeah, I bet.
The chromo is going to be very hard. You have to angle very steeply for it.
All right, Plymouth, you're angled too much.
Yeah, that might be great if you're going against like yourself, like another tier 6, but you might want to go a little bit like that. There you go. Yeah, if you were angling like you normally were, you probably would have the IS2 would have pinned.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not actually trying to fire to get a shot. I'm just trying to because I can't shoot.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to bait him, right?
Yeah, right now you're trying to get him to shoot, and then once he shoots, you're gonna poke out and take a shot.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Next.
But if you wanted to do it the other way and take the hit and trade your hit points, you could. But Cromwell.
Yeah.
Me, I go next.
This one's gonna be very hard. So.
Especially with APCR.
Yeah,
turn your tank towards me. Turn your rear towards me.
Oh.
A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Are you moving?
I don't even see. I don't even have. He's not even spotted on here.
Let's turn a little bit more. If you overturn, I can push you. So you're fine. Turn. There you go. All right, try backing up a little bit.
I think he's too far behind the building.
Yeah, back up. Just back up. Just slowly go back up until he can see your tracks. There you go.
All right.
A little bit too far, but let me get out of the way. Oh no, you might overmatch his side if it's thin enough.
Especially with APCR.
Well, overmatching is to do with
Now, I'm getting critical damage, but I'm not.
Yeah, you need his tracks 8 the tracks 8 the shell. Nice.
Oh, nice.
So the Cromwell is very thinly armored, but still bouncing shells.
Yeah, bouncing APCR shells, not just AP shells, but AP. I got him on a corner.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that like if he hits tracks, then you're not gonna pin it, but if he hits like above the tracks or your turret, then it's gonna pin.
All right, next.
Waiting for my tracks to repair.
Yeah, you're fine.
I guess I'm all that's left.
So yeah, side scraping is all about how you feel. If you want to risk your hit points, you can go steeper. That's a bit too steep for a. Let me push you a little bit. So since we're going against a tier higher, you might want to be like that.
There you go.
This is also, so we're practicing side scraping on a wall, but if you're like, charging a tank, like showing your side a little bit, hopefully like you'll try to go for your tracks, might help as well instead of going straight at him.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna show him that on the next part.
Gotcha. How many more shells do you have? The IS2 doesn't carry that much, does it?
Yeah, I got 2 more shells.
IS2
Anybody else left?
Does anyone else? Has everyone done it?
I think I was last.
Well, hold on. I got 2 more shells. I was gonna shoot you. We're gonna see if we.
Let's see if I can get in position again without Drizzy.
See if you can do it. Yeah. That's
Nope.
HE.
No. It's not
Oh,
going
with
to bounce.
HE.
Yeah,
No,
it's not
okay.
going to bounce the HE shell. It's not going to ricochet. So the only thing that you're not going to be able to ricochet is the HE shell. Do you guys all and Hesh? Do you guys all understand the concept? I mean, you guys did really well. Like somebody's trained you before. You mean?
Well, pat yourself on the back, why don't you?
John doesn't do that.
I don't do that. Let's go to the middle over here. We've got like 8 more minutes, and I want to show you a couple things. Then we're going to jump out and then jump back in. You guys could just line up along here, along this street. All right. So what Drizzy was talking. Again, no matter what type of game it is, you don't want to come at them straight on. Okay. Even though I'm looking at Ludo, and I'm looking at his lower plate. I'm getting red. I don't know why I'm getting red, but because I'm on HE. But if I'm coming straight at you, you're not going to penetrate anything on me unless you're shooting APCR, and you're going to have to shoot the bottom.
User
You're
joined your channel.
You're coming towards me. You don't want to come straight on. Okay, you want to be angled. And see, the way I'm angled is going to deflect the shells just like you did off that wall. It's going to deflect on the front, and it's going to deflect on the side. Ludo, do you have AP loaded?
Yep.
All right. Pick a spot, not in the middle, somewhere to the front or to the side, and go ahead and fire.
Okay. All right, front to the side. That was the front.
Yeah.
I penned you. Oh, so your sides.
Top. Yeah, top. Don't shoot the bottom. Don't shoot the lower
turret?
plate. No.
No, I shot right above your lower plate. Right? Anyway, okay.
Yeah, you shot on the armor band. Shoot above the armor band.
What's going on here? Where am I shooting? Where do you want me to shoot?
Hey, he's hitting me in. No, you're hitting me
in the weak spots.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's
another one.
Whoever just fired.
I just fired at you. So what is that? Spaced armor? Because it left a hole, but it didn't do nothing.
Right. No, that's the angle. That's the armor angle. Where you hit it before is where the front armor curves. This tank is meant to be straight on, not.
Okay. I thought that was going to be the thickest spot. That's why I shot you there.
Yeah. No, that's thinnest. But where you shot with the green is the part of the front of the tank that's angled. So
normally I would shoot you, if I may, through the tracks. Yeah, okay, that still works. I won't shoot you anymore.
No, that's all right. So that's how you want to come up. You want to get into about a face-on battle with a tank. You don't want to come straight. Go ahead, shoot me, Ludo, because you're gonna pen me straight.
Okay.
Well, that's
but not that I shot above. I shot near your viewport, and it didn't work.
And it didn't work. That, again, if you guys look at the way the armor is on this tank, it's it's angled in the front, and then it kind of slopes, and then beside the tracks, above each track, is spaced armor. It's a little bit different than the IS-2. This is the IS-2M. So if I want to bounce your shot, I'm going to turn, but I'm going to hope that you fire at the center mass of my tank. If you fire into underneath where my gun barrel's at, you're going to penetrate me. This tank is meant to be straight on towards you, not like the regular IS-2. But I'm going to switch it up when we get back into the thing. So again, when you're coming into somebody, this is how you want to come into them. You want to come into them at an angle, and what you do is, well, let me lock on. What you do is you turn your tank, staying locked on him with your gun. So you turn your tank coming into him, so you basically like sidewind going forward. That'll also protect you from arty, as well as protect you from shots. But if you're doing sidewinding as you're moving, then arty can't predict where you're going to be or what turn you're going to make. All right. All right. Now you guys can shoot me and kill me. We can go back to the garage, and I'll switch up heavy tanks.
It's too many.
Glad you got Drizzy too. All right. Any questions on the side scraping? You guys did really good. I'm really excited.
When you're shooting, will auto aiming work on it as well, or not?
No, not when you're shooting it. Well, if you're going back, it all depends on what the tank is that's firing at you. If he's in the open, then auto aiming may work. Wow, that cost me 93,000 credits. It all depends on how they're set up, and like I was behind that rock pile. If you would have auto aimed on me, it would have hit the rock pile and not my turret. So you have to adjust for that when you're going in and out. Where are you trying to shoot at? Is his lower plate or his front plate available? Now, the other thing is, I would say it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to penetrate that armor band. That armor band is depending on where you shoot it, can either be really thick or it can be really thin. Ludo hit me, it was right above the armor band, so it was kind of thin. But if you shoot a little bit lower, it could have bounced, or it was lower and further on the lower plate, it could have penetrated the lower plate.
Yeah, that was really surprising, because I thought that would have been like the thickest, because it's a fold.
Yeah, you hit it just a little bit above the center. If it hit it right on center, it would have probably not. All right, I'm going to switch up tanks. So I have a
So the room's still open?
I just opened it because I heard somebody come into the room in TeamSpeak. So I wanted to.
Yeah, I'll be there in a minute, John.
Yeah,
All right,
just
What gear do you want me to bring?
6.
Okay.
so just to tell y'all what John's trying to say is this is a wonderful website, and it shows the live. So when you angle, it'll automatically calculate the armor for the tanks. So if you just like hold down and you can move the tank, however, it'll show the armor thickness, the relative armor thickness for you, so you can kind of understand why we, instead of going straight on, we zigzag back and forth, because it makes it so our armor is a little bit more thicker than than others.
All right, Scott, I'm gonna send you an invite.
All right, I'm right in the middle of the game, but I'll get it. That's why I said I'll be there in a minute.
I think the easiest way, or easiest one to look at it, is the U100. So let me pull that up. Oops, wrong one.
Tell them to go to the website? Or you
I
just
told him to go to TeamSpeak.
Oh, okay.
If he wants to join, he can do it like everybody else.
User left your channel.
Not visual. What?
He's up there.
Yeah, the U100 is a
I
lot
don't know.
easier to
Press the one
understand
up.
if you look at it.
right. Any questions about what Drizzy's showing you or what we went over? Okay.
Yeah, the E100's a lot
Hi,
easier to
Scotty.
see on it.
Scott,
Yeah.
there's a guy up in the entrance hall would like to join the clan. He's interested in joining.
Okay. Yeah. Go tell him I'll be up there in 5 minutes.
He's the guy that wanted to join training.
I don't know if it is the
No,
same guy,
it's
is
not,
it?
it's not the same guy.
It's a
Same
different guy actually. There's loads of people want to join today. All right,
Alright.
I'll tell you about that in 5 minutes.
Thank you,
Alright.
Krasta.
So here we go in. You want to switch up, Drizzy, from your Rudy to something else?
Sure. What do you want me to bring?
I'll take care of it.
User
I
left
have
your channel.
something heavy.
A tier preference? I'm guessing 7.
7, 8, yeah. I went with this because it's the tank. It's the one tank that I have the biggest sloped armor in.
Oh. Huh. Cool. I'll go -3. That way you can
You can we can show them both how to do. Okay.
pike and non-pike.
All right, but don't bring that one because it only fires
User joined your
I
channel.
took care of that.
APCR.
So Scott, I told him he'd be waiting for you. He says that's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Ludo.
Yeah, hopefully the website that I posted, helps y'all understand what we're trying to show. Is like when you angle it, it makes your armor a lot more effective, but it also puts some, especially with a piked turret or sorry piked hole. It also devalues some of the thickness of some armors.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Walrus Dog with us today.
Awesome.
Hello, Mr. Dog.
Greetings.
All right, so let's meet out at E2.
Field, huh? Oh, I should have chose a faster tank.
Yeah, Walrus might have trouble bouncing shots in that tank.
Especially
Nah.
against HE.
Hey, he probably runs AG all the time.
Actually, the VK is actually pretty armored for a light tank, I'm pretty sure.
I wish this thing was just a little bit faster.
I keep
Tank
seeing
is
you type
terrible.
yeet.
What?
Yeet?
Eat?
Yeet, Jersey. You keep right.
Yeet.
It's a local. We have a large Italian population in this state, and there's just a little joke. I think it's
Got it.
old, but Jeet, no Jew. Just the way they pronounce words. Did you eat? No, did you?
Jet, no, Jew.
That's right. Same thing. I thought it was E2.
All right, so Walrus, we
Right.
went over side scraping. Now we're just going over angling. Angling in the open, and then there. All right, so I brought.
User
something
joined
with
your
armor.
channel.
That's all right. Well, I just showed him that you can actually do damage with a Cromwell against an IS2. All right. So I brought this tank because we didn't have real good luck with the last one, as far as angling it. So again, when you're going up against somebody in a straight-on fight, this is how you want to approach them. You want your gun. You're going to angle your armor. You want that gun to be over either the left or the right fender. You get that gun over the left and right fender while you're facing the tank, then you pretty much have the proper angling. I'm not exactly sure what kind of icons sometimes you have down in your left corner, I don't know what you want to call this thing. It's a picture of a tank with all the components that gets destroyed and your your crewman. Way I'm angling right now, my gun is in the green. Right? So I can over angle my tank and it show that it's in the red or it's in the green. So that's something you want to take a look at when you're trying to angle your armor. You want to try to get used to keeping that gun in the green and moving the tank to adjust to what type of shells are coming at you and as far as where they're coming from. Now, one of the things that I do, because when I'm going up against somebody, if I'm going up against them and they're a distance away, I have a 60 zoom on my camera, my gun sights. So I'm going to zoom all the way in, and I'm going to be looking at it, and I'm going to see that shell come out of the barrel of the gun when he fires it. Rushing Bull, I want you to fire up the front plate of my tank. See, I pushed the wrong button. What I'll do is when they fire, I'll give the tank a little twist one way or the other to try to take the bounce, to try to force the bounce off of it. Drizzy will rock side to side like that. I'll sit still, wait for the shot, and then do a slight movement of the tank. Walrus, do you have any tricks that you do?
What's that?
Do you have any tricks that you do when somebody's firing at you?
It depends on the tank.
Depends on the tank.
But out in the open like that, I'll waggle back and forth a bunch.
Okay. All right. So if you guys want to get in the field, sit in an angled position. Now, Drizzy, go ahead and explain the IS-3 and its type of front end.
Alright, so the IS-3 is, so if you look at John's tank and look at mine, the front for mine, it's kind of going into like an arrow shape. We call it piked, right? So the problem with piked, holes is that, like, to be the most effective, you kind of have to point your tank towards them, right? So kind of side scraping kind of negates that, right? So, like, it makes the pike a weak spot, especially for Eagle tier tanks. So normally you don't really want to go, side on or side scraping for them, but you also do want to, kind of angle so that your lower plate is not, completely a weak spot. So normally for John, he'll probably do something like this to go towards them, right?
Yeah.
Or it's very wide, but for pike holes, you kind of don't want to go too far back and forth. Waggle a little bit, okay?
Now,
Go
ahead.
But some other things is, if you do want to try to angle, you want to exaggerate especially for Russian tanks, you want to exaggerate your side because you have so much side armor. Hopefully he'll shoot your side instead of your pike. But in general, you kind of want to stay pointing towards your enemy.
Now, you'll be able to tell if there's an IS-3 in the game, or an IS-3A, or the Defender, any of those tanks that have the pipe-shaped nose. You'll be able to tell the Chinese heavies too, correct. You'll be able to tell if the person really knows how to play the tank or not by how he lines up to face you. If he lines up and he's giving you that flat look on the front and trying to keep his hull down, but is trying to angle it because he's learned that he needs to angle his tanks, but he's not well versed on the Russian tanks with the pike nose, then shoot him in that pike. That will be the weakest spot if it's flush facing you, then that's where you want to shoot it. If you can get to his lower plate, that's great. But if he's facing, like right now, I'm looking right at Drizzy's pike, and I can penetrate that because it's flat and flush facing me. So that's something you need to be aware of too if you're going against, what tanks you're going against. If you're going against a tank like mine that's got a steep front to it, like the Tiger, the BK4503 or the E75, or the 100, those are tanks that have a exaggerated front plate that is flush that you can angle. American tanks are kind of iffy. You can do it, but they're kind of like the IS-2. They've got bumps and protrusions that you drop a shot in. The IS-3, if he's looking at me or if he's facing me, wants me to shoot him in the side, and he's got that front plate angled, and I can see it flush, then that's what I'm going to shoot. All right. So if you guys can crock your tanks and angle them, Drizzy and I are going to shoot at you.
Flash, I can't type in game, but it's as long as we're here, you can't get in. It's locked room.
Sorry, Flash.
Don't worry about it, no big deal, but
I'm not sure what you mean. You guys are in a bad place.
Mikey, you want to close your angle a little bit more. Take your butt to your right.
Are we supposed to be shooting you?
Nope.
So, like, look at us, like, auto aim on us that we know that you're angling for us instead of the other person, that we know not to shoot you if you're not angling towards us. That rushing bull, you might a bit too angled, not getting out 10 your side.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, Plymouth, I can pen your side. You need to
I could
angle.
probably still
Yeah, no, I was aiming at
going.
Drizzy, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
It's just because, like, we're 2 tiers higher, and you have to be very angled for us in order for us to bounce off your side.
How's that, John?
Let's see. I think
Press
about
it.
it.
You're
Yep.
very
Nope,
angled for
I
me.
penetrated you.
So angle a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh, I'm on reload now.
Well, you can shoot me in the front door, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get my front if I aim it too far.
Right.
Got no choice in this situation.
Yeah. But you just gotta, hope that he ricochets for some reason, right?
Shoot me, shoot me.
Who's me? This guy?
Yeah, because now I'm giving you more than my front.
Ah,
Right.
that
So
didn't
that's
work.
why you've got to swing it. Oops. Sorry, Mike.
Well, let's
Oh,
see.
nobody
How
else
are ya?
shoot Mike.
I think we're all just fell asleep.
Huh?
your turret or your barrel is like looking down like you fell asleep.
I don't know where that one. Yeah, that one hit me, but I don't know where it hit me at.
I'm trying to see where you
Is the
hit me.
turret on the IS-3 similar to the IS-3?
I'm sorry.
Is the turret on the IS-3 the same as the IS-3?
Yes. No.
Uh,
It's the same as the first turret.
it's
Oh, it's the same as the first turret, okay.
But
Yeah.
the
Because
weak
there's a
spot's
little weak
still
spot on
there.
the top of that one,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah.
Both of them have it. You can technically HE the weak spot. You shot too far to the side. It's center and right above the gun.
Oh, that was RNG. I missed you by about a mile.
I saw that.
Well, open that up a little bit more,
Hey.
Parsons. Nope, other way. There you go.
Ish. Are we supposed to be shooting you guys? I'm confused.
Yes, you can.
Knock yourself out.
I just don't know
You
where.
what you
I
want.
think you guys are. You guys must be hitting me in the turret.
That's better.
No. I'm
Oh, they hit you. They hit you in the
All right,
barrel.
you hit me in the wheel and the barrel.
Oh, your weak
All right.
spot's gone now. It's changed.
In between your tracks and your hull is a.
You're showing up green, but I bounce every time now, and I wasn't bouncing before.
Were you aiming at me?
Oh,
Hey, yeah, well, it's
Sorry.
there's that little patch
It's 'cause
just above the gun
IS3s
on
are-
Drizzy that's green.
Yeah.
But he
So
returns
if
fast.
you look at my tank, the turret, if you look at the top of it, you'll see a rectangle. That's only like 10 millimeters thick. So y'all can pin it
Oh, yeah,
all
I
day
see
long.
it. But you've got to be above you to get that. I see it now.
Yeah. It's more prominent when you're in equal tier tank, like especially well, I think
Oh,
the Tiger 2 is higher, right? Or it's more it's a bit
sorry,
higher,
Parsons.
right? So like you can aim down. Okay. This guys.
I shot Parsons and set him on fire.
Bounce or a miss. Wait, don't kill me. I want to kill Walrus. I don't want to kill Walrus.
I tried not to
All right.
kill you.
So it's something. Open field is something that you have to do and practice to be good at, to get good at it. It's not something that I can say, hey, okay, you did great. Whereas when we did it off the wall, I can say, hey, we did great and we had good results. Open field is mixed results because um, it all depends on how much you're angling, what you're looking for them to do, what you want armor to do, where the tank is that's shooting you from. So it comes with practice. Practice
User
it.
joined your channel.
If you practice it in training, like on Tuesday nights when we have skirmish training, or if you practice it in pub matches, and just try to find your comfort zone as to where and how much you want to angle your armor where it works for you. That's the only thing I can tell you to do as far as open field. Now, coming off of the wall and side scraping, there's a lot of different ways to do that. As long as you're getting it ricocheted or it's absorbing whatever tank you're in, then just try to remember that position and keep trying to use that position, and it'll work out good for you. I mean, I had very little health left when I was going up against that IS2, even though I couldn't penetrate him, but I was still able to survive because I was able to angle my armor at him. Right? Any questions? All right. Again, if you want or need questions answered, or you want to go over it with